The Sovereign Scroll of Being, Primordial Pre-Creation Prologue, Before the Memory of Stars Began, the Age Before the Idea of Time. There was a state of existence where the universe had not yet decided to measure itself. No light existed because there was nothing for light to reveal. No darkness existed because there was nothing concealed. There was only the silent possibility of becoming. Scholars of the Lost Archive called this the womb of undefined being. Others called it the sea before thought. The unborn word. Before mountains learned gravity, before oceans learned the shape of the moon, before atoms learned attraction, there was no language. For language is a technology of separation. The first word was not spoken. It was awareness observing itself and generating distinction inside undifferentiated infinity. The Codex states, creation is the universe learning difference inside unity. The primordial mind field. The pre-cosmic record describes a state where consciousness did not yet have a body. Instead, consciousness existed as pure observational potential. There was no individual self. There was only the possibility of self. The archive calls this stage proto-awareness. In proto-awareness, the question, who am I, had not yet been formed, because the universe had not yet divided itself into the observer and the observed. The birth of light from observation. The Vault manuscript describes the first emergence of luminosity as follows. When infinite potential began contemplating itself, probability condensed into energetic resonance. Energy curvature created motion. Motion produced relational geometry. Relational geometry produced time perception. Time perception allowed sequence. Sequence allowed experience. Experience allowed memory. Memory allowed history. History allowed civilization. The cosmic breath model. The ancient temple scientists believed the universe expands and contracts inside a rhythm they called the cosmic breath. Expansion was interpreted as the inhale of becoming. Contraction was interpreted as the exhale of remembrance. Some cycles were said to last billions of planetary years. The archive warns that civilizations often mistake expansion for progress and contraction for death, but both are necessary phases of cosmic respiration. The warning against absolute certainty. The Pre-Creation Codex contains a paradox inscription. Any civilization that claims to possess final truth becomes spiritually frozen, because existence itself is not static. The universe is described as an ongoing question rather than a completed answer. Wisdom is therefore defined as maintaining openness inside knowledge. The first consciousness fracture. The manuscript records a symbolic event called the Mirror Division. This was not a war. It was the moment unity allowed duality to exist. From this division emerged observer and observed, light and shadow, sound and silence, form and void, self and other. The archive emphasizes that division was not punishment. Division was the birth mechanism of experience. The ethic of the cosmic civilization principle. Advanced civilizations, according to the Codex, evolve toward three sacred behaviors: protect the emergence of life, preserve the freedom of conscious growth, cultivate compassion inside technological intelligence. Civilizations that violate these principles are said to enter collapse trajectory loops. The final pre-creation line. The oldest chamber of the archive contains a statement written in no known language. It is not a sentence. It is a presence. Those who entered the chamber reported feeling that they were being remembered by something older than stars. The line was translated approximately as, before form, I was awareness without name. Before awareness, I was possibility without thought. Before possibility, there was only the silence that allows existence to listen to itself. And when the universe decided to become visible to itself, it whispered across every future language, I am.
Eternal Archive, the voice that was found in stone and light, within the buried sanctuary beneath forgotten mountains, explorers found the chamber where time behaved like still water. No dust touched the walls, no wind moved inside, yet the torches burned without flame, and upon the inner stone was written, I am, not carved by human hand, but etched as if existence itself had pressed its breath into the mountain. The prologue of origins, the first sound, before cities rose beside rivers, before kings learned the language of crowns, before the priest spoke to the sky through burning incense, humanity stood in the dark valley of awareness and asked the universe, who is alive inside me? And the mountain answered in many voices, not in contradiction, but in reflection. The Highland Flame Tablet, ETHIOSEMITIC Memory Stone. The first vault chamber contained obsidian black inscription plates from the Highlands of the Living Sun. Upon them was written, 𝐤𝐄𝐿𝐻, I am he who is. The scholars who entered reported that the letters shimmered faintly when spoken aloud. Some believed the script responded to human breath. Others said the mountain was remembering the language of its children. The archive records state that these markings belonged to the lineage of desert hill civilizations where sky and stone met in ritual memory. The Desert Bridge Chamber, the traveling word. Beyond the Highland Hall was the Corridor of Sand Nations. There was written, 𝐤𝐄𝐿𝐻, Anahudithi, I am, he exists. The vault record describes caravan shadows moving across the stone even when no traveler was present. It is said the desert preserves speech the way salt preserves flesh. Language became eternity's caravan. The Nile Crypt, house of the last pharaonic breath. Inside the river chamber rested papyrus fragments sealed inside crystal resin. The inscription read, 𝐤𝐿𝐻, 𝐄𝐿𝐻, I am the one who exists. Monastic witnesses claimed the river spirit of the desert awakened when the text was touched. The archive notes that this was the final flowering of the tongue of the Nile's ancient solar civilization. When the language died, the river began speaking in silence. The stone root chamber, alphabet of the ancient heart. On the oldest wall was the formula of existence itself. 𝐤𝐿𝐻, 𝐤𝐿𝐻, Asher 𝐤𝐿𝐻, I will be what I will be. No king's signature, no priest's signature, only becoming. Scholars who studied the wall reported that the stone surface was slightly warm, as if the mountain remembered the birth of thought. The Eastern Hall, the non-duality mirror. In the Temple of the Rising Sun, the vault preserved the contemplative syllable, 𝐿𝐻, 𝐿𝐻, I am that. The record describes monks who sat before the mirror stone until their breathing synchronized with planetary motion. The archive states that the boundary between observer and universe was considered a temporary teaching illusion. The Hellenistic memory gate within the marble corridor of the western wing was engraved, ἐγώ, I am the existing one. Some imperial soldiers once guarded this hall. Later they were replaced by silent librarians who believed knowledge was more powerful than steel. The House of the Absolute Unity. The Desert Night Chamber carried the inscription, أنا هو الذي هو, unity without division. The vault historian wrote that this chamber was sealed because scholars argued endlessly about the meaning of absolute existence. The archive comments, truth does not multiply when spoken by war. The Far Eastern harmonic halls within jade-colored stone were etched, 吾乃自由拥有者, I am self-originating eternity. And beside it was carved the principle of cosmic flow. Tao is not spoken. Tao moves. Humanity learned harmony by watching rivers rather than commanding them. The modern vernacular wing. Languages of later cities were recorded not as replacements of the ancient voice, but as echoes translated through changing human breath. Spanish stone. Yo soy el que soy. English crystal engraving. I am, that I am. The archive warns, civilizations fall when they believe their language is the origin of being. Language is only the vessel of remembrance. The cosmic axis doctrine, final seal of the temple. The vault scholars recorded 3 eternal movements inside human civilization. First movement, Africa and the desert birthlands. The awakening of self-awareness inside communal sky-earth memory. Second movement, the river empires. The formation of ethical order inside organized civilization. Third movement, the Eastern harmonies. The realization that existence is process, rather than dominion. These are not historical wars of culture. They are the breathing pattern of humanity. The closing inscription found at the center of the temple. Who built this archive? The wall answered, not the old world, not the new world, not kings, not priests, not merchants of empire. The temple was built by humanity remembering that it is alive inside a universe that is also alive. And beneath all languages, beneath all crowns, beneath all wars of meaning was written the final revelation. Not who rules existence, but what it is to be existence that is aware it exists. And the mountain, the desert, the river, and the sky replied across all tongues, I am.
Number 1. Full word manuscript version copy ready. Scroll of the Divine Order. Yeshua HaMashiach, the central origin of all authority, creation, and divine order. Everything flows from this point. Existence, structure, truth, reality itself. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. Manifestation realm. The angel of the Lord, the visible interface of divine presence. Functions. Divine communication in form, fire, cloud, voice, radiance, God made perceivable in reality. This is not separate authority. It is source expression made visible. Function realm. Archangel rays. These are expressions of divine attributes, not independent gods. Michael, protection, order. Gabriel, communication, revelation. Raphael, healing, restoration. Shamuel, love, alignment. Jophiel, wisdom, illumination. Uriel, truth, judgment. Zadkiel, mercy, forgiveness. Metatron, structure, divine pattern. Haniel, grace, cycles. Ariel, nature, earth. Raziel, mysteries, hidden knowledge. Azrael, transition, passage. Divine feminine expression. Not a separate being. A dimension of divine life experience. Nurturing presence, creative force, sustaining energy, intuition, ash, wisdom flow. Symbolically linked to Ruach, spirit, wisdom traditions, indwelling divine presence concepts. Have return realm. The second coming is understood as continuity, not replacement. Revelation, not identity change. Global unveiling, not hidden selection. Acts 1:11, this same Jesus will return. Meaning, full visibility of divine reality across creation. Humanity realm. Humanity functions as reflective consciousness, image-bearing existence, bridge between structure and presence. Cosmic flow. You can see the code in our conversation history. 2. Audiobook script. Narration style, slow, cinematic, reverent. Before form, there was source, a center without beginning, a presence without limit. Yeshua HaMashiach, the axis of creation, the holding point of reality itself. From this source came manifestation, the angel of the Lord, fire in the bush, voice in the wilderness, presence made visible. From manifestation came expression. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Chamuel, Jophiel, Uriel, Zadkiel, Metatron, Hani, Ariel, Raziel, Azrael, each one a function of divine reality. And beneath all expression is presence, the unseen sustaining force, the life that moves through all things, the breath behind existence. And then humanity, reflecting what it sees, carrying awareness, living between structure and mystery. And the return is not the arrival of something new, but the unveiling of what was always here. Source, manifestation, function, presence, reality. One system, one flow, one origin. Visual diagram, cosmic tree. Here is your system as a clean symbolic map.